And welcome to When Movies Met Movies, the podcast where we look at a past year in film to further understand the present. I'm Matthew,
I'm Jack.
And I'm Dean.
and this week we're covering two very big films. Well, one pretty big film, actually. 28 years later, The Bone Temple, as well as the movie Chronicle, which came out February 3rd, 2012. But before we get to the contents of the episode, what have you guys been up to lately?
I have a few things to note this past week. I have caught up with industry, minus the new season 4
Nice.
premiere. Season
Nice.
3, the finale was a little bit disappointing, even though it was still good, but the rest of it was an incredible season of TV. I think the show really hit its stride, and it was great. Did y'all see the SNL Stranger Things
Oh
episode or
yeah,
parts of it?
yeah.
Parts of it.
Or it's the Finn Wolfhard episode, not
Well,
specifically.
no, it was the Stranger Things. They had the whole cast. They had not the whole
Oh,
cast, but they had a lot of members of the cast.
Yeah.
They were all
and like
doing
the
SNL
skip.
skits together as their
Oh, okay,
characters
okay.
for a lot of it, which I found really interesting. They had one skit where they were playing their characters in New York City 20 years later or something, and they made the room joke, and it was funny. And Lucas commented
Interesting.
that his sex life with Max was like she was back in a coma. So
Oh God.
Oh
I
god.
don't know. I thought it
Jesus
was interesting,
Christ.
and I really think more shows or movies, need to do this where they get multiple people from their cast, and some of them
Yeah.
make skits
Mhm.
with their characters. I think it's really interesting, and it kind of makes up for the lack of a secret last episode
Uh,
that does not exist. So
yeah,
it
but
was kind of the comedic version of that.
yeah, the
Good
Star Wars
company.
episodes are pretty good with Matt the radar technician, and this was pretty good as well. So yeah, more
Yeah.
more things should do this.
And I
Mhm,
saw the other
mhm.
day a big movie, according to critics, The Testament of Anne Lee. It is the same
Ooh.
team as The Brutalist, Brady Corbet and Mona Fastfold, but the technical director listed has flipped. So this was Mona Fastfold's directorial effort, Amanda Seyfried, Louis Pullman, and a lot of other people too, about the religious high school theater movement.
Yeah.
The songs were a little bit repetitive, and I'm not entirely sure why they chose this story, although there was a lot of emotion in it, especially towards the end. But as someone who hated The Brutalist and thought it was pretentious and overlong, I gotta say I was really impressed overall by this movie, and I
Mm.
think Mona Fastvold is a much better director than Brady Corbet, based on their two. You never know in the future, but just based on The Brutalist versus Testament of Anne Lee, it was a lot more focused, a lot more creative. The score was booming. It was the same scorer as The Brutalist.
Oh,
And
nice.
y'all, I didn't know this going in, and maybe some people would disagree, but I don't. Louis Pullman is actually very much a co-lead of the movie. I
Mhm.
thought he was going to be just in the background, but he had as much screen time as Amanda Seyfried. So to me, it was kind of a movie about both of them, and I thought they both delivered amazing performances. So it's a little
Nice.
weird, and I'm not entirely sure. There were some things with the script that could have been a little bit tightened, maybe a little bit better. But I gotta say, as an audio visual experience, it is well worth going to a theater. And it is not
Okay.
4 hours, it's only a slightly overlong 2 hours and 17 minutes. So overall, yeah, I really liked The Testament of Anne Lee. Again, script problems aside, I give it a 7.5 out of 10.
Well,
Good job.
I'll look forward to that whenever it comes out here or on digital.
No, it's a theater. If you ever get a chance in Japan to see it in a theater, it is worth it. So I hope for you that they release it even if it's
Probably
not.
won't be until May.
What a shame.
Well,
What a shame.
Shame.
anyways, if you don't have anything else to add on, Dean, what have you been up to?
Nothing much. I did watch one very powerful and impactful movie, The Voice of Hind Rajab, at
Ooh,
River Oaks Theater. And it's obviously a damn shame that it's playing at so many theaters because it has no distributor. It's being distributed independently or something, as far as I can tell.
Oof.
But or actually, in the end credits, there was a shit ton of famous names listed as executive producers, like Brad Pitt, Jeremy Kleiner, Dee Gardner, Alfonso Cuarón, Jonathan Glazer, which is it's good for him since
Yeah.
yeah, there's a big backlash to his statements at the Oscars. But I thought it was incredible and haunting and honestly very interesting from a filmmaking perspective because I don't know if you'll know, but the voice of Hind Rajab tells the story of Hind Rajab, who was a 6-year-old Palestinian girl who in February 2024, she was trapped in a car with a bunch of her dead relatives while the Israeli army was shooting at her.
Mm.
And there was an uncle in Germany who was really concerned for them, so he was able to call the Red Crescent, which is, just like the emergency service that very heroically tried to rescue Gazans trapped in the line of fire, just like 911. And so they actually include the actual phone calls made from Hind Rajab to the emergency dispatchers. So you hear her actual voice. And I think that it was the most powerful part of the movie was hearing her actual voice, which kind of cuts through all the noise of everything else and stands as a testament to the loss of innocence in the times in which we live. So, very depressing. There were many, many not dry eyes in the theater, wet eyes, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
But it is well deserving of all of the acclaim it's getting. And definitely one to see, not one to skip, just because it is not one of the main contenders, like the much inferior sentimental value.
Boo.
No, I agree. Overrated. Great
Yeah.
performances, good
Yeah.
cinematography, but nope for me.
Mm-hmm.
Nah, it is
You
a
gotta
top
see it.
2 movie of the year for me.
Hell no.
Wow.
Hell
That's
no.
Well, we're
crazy.
not talking about sentimental value, so
Yes. But yeah, that's about it.
Well, I haven't been really watching many movies lately. Obviously, I watched the movies that we did watch, but besides that, I've been prepping to get excited for the F1 season by playing F1 25, as well as watching the live stream for that amazing Red Bull livery. And there's more coming up this week, which I'm very excited for.
Exciting. This might be the
Yeah.
year I have to get into F1.
Yeah.
Hopefully.
Does that start this year? Cadillacs
Oh yeah,
in
Cadillac
participation. That's exciting.
livery reveal at the Super Bowl.
Oh wow. Of
Yeah,
course.
Team USA has to reveal themselves at the biggest American events on TV.
Could be embarrassing.
Yeah.
Anyways.
Anyways, Jack, do you want to lead us into the news?
We got some huge news today, the biggest yet of our podcast, and we are starting with the trailer for my most anticipated movie. Even though it's a TV show, it's my most
Ay, ay,
anticipated
ay.
movie of I don't give a fuck of the year. Grand Theft Auto the show. Euphoria season 3. Okay. I was excited before, but personally, this trailer made me tenfold excited and more confident than ever that this is at least still in contention for what's going to be my favorite film of the year. Hopefully, but I will judge it when it comes out. If it's bad, I'll be the first one to say it. Okay? We got an April 12th release date with the tagline for the season, Say Your Prayers. A lot of religious themes
Oh wow.
in this trailer, which there were a little bit in previous seasons, so it's not completely out of left field, but they're really leaning on it to clearly give this season an identity. Some slightly cringe moments in terms of that, but I do think in the show itself it will be a lot better because I think they were just editing all those moments together to really put that message in there to really give that identity. I think in the actual show will be more spaced out and realistic, hopefully. We got Hans Zimmer entering for the score, joining Labyrinth, and it's shot on, I think, various things. The main thing is VistaVision, and
What a
65
waste.
millimeter film, which to me, the
What a
cinematography,
waste.
what a
That's
waste.
crazy.
The cinematography looked
What's the point,
gorgeous,
though?
okay? What do you mean,
Uh,
What's
what's
the
the
point?
point? Okay, I do agree
I
this should
mean,
be in theaters. They should do, like, I
exactly.
saw Alamo release Twin Peaks in episode chunks. They should do 2 to 3 episode chunks for Euphoria in
Ay,
limited
ay.
screenings, okay? I need that finale to be played like Stranger Things 5, okay? I need that in theaters. I wanna see it on IMAX. I wanna see it on 70 millimeter, okay?
40X.
Even at 40X, there was some, well, I don't know about 40X for this, but there were action moments in the trailer. I will say. No, but there was a little bit of YouTube compression. I think it will look even better when it's in 4K on HBO proper. But I still thought it looked really good. Very colorful, very cinematic, just based on the trailer footage. This season there's a lot of stuff around it. Angus Cloud, who played Fez, passed away, unfortunately. Luckily, his role kind of ended at a good place in season 2, but at the same time, it's still really sad what happened. And Barbie Ferreira, who is still alive but is not returning. Yeah, a lot has happened in the 4-year gap between seasons 2 and now 3. So yeah, I thought the trailer was great. I loved how they used that song, and they like remixed it and like combined it with snippets of the score from the show. I love how the trailer kept
Yeah.
escalating. I thought it looked big in scale, but I still feel like they were hiding a lot. It's definitely just a teaser. They've publicly announced significant cast members that were nowhere to be found in this, including Danielle Deadweiler, Sharon Stone, Natasha
Wow.
Lyonne, and returning Eric Dane. There's also additional huge plot points that were announced that are not really showcased in the trailer, including the characters Lexi and Maddie being involved in a Hollywood studio plot. I will give
Ah,
her applause that she's going there for this. I
yeah,
mean, talk about
it's
commitment.
bold.
It was
Yeah.
almost like a porno was like being shown. It
Mhm,
was like a jump
mhm.
scare. Okay.
Yep.
But no, overall, I have to see another trailer, but I am really excited to see this season, and it feels very cinematic. So, what were y'all's thoughts as people who do not watch Euphoria of this trailer?
All I have to say is good for you. I'm glad you're excited, but I have no interest.
What? No. No interest.
Yeah. I will not be
Wow.
watching.
What did you
Wow.
think just as a standalone thing? Like just as if this was some upcoming movie or show.
I was intrigued, I gotta say, especially with all the religious overtones, which were quite interesting and unexpected. And, it's impressive that they were able to get the casts back together for the most part, at least, especially since they've gone on to illustrious careers.
Are you going to be tuning in? I'm not saying are you going to watch the whole show, but are you going to be giving it a chance? April 12th, first episode, HBO Max.
I wouldn't go that far, but I'll catch it on streaming.
Well, no, yeah, it's on streaming. I hope it's in.
Mhm.
I hope something's in theaters. There might be a 2-hour finale apparently, so I'm like that should count as a movie.
Good for you. Yeah. I think we should move on, yeah.
Speaking of audacious projects set in the Los Angeles area, Damian Chazelle has a new movie that will soon be in production, starring Cillian Murphy and Daniel Craig, distributed by Paramount, which is not very exciting, but
Hey, they produced Babylon, so
that's true. It's true. But the new news is that Michelle Williams is the latest star to be joining Chazelle's new prison drama. So, what do y'all think?
I think it's a good choice. She's an amazing actress. I'm curious to find more about what this film is kind of about because all we kind of know, as far as I know, is that it's in a prison and it's a drama, but that's kind of, self explanatory with Damien Chazelle's work so far.
mhm.
Mhm.
But yeah, I liked Babylon a lot. It had some flaws, but I think his ambition is one of the highest in the industry. So I'm excited to see what he's coming up with.
Yeah, good for him for still getting big projects.
Yeah, hopefully it's not affected by budget or the other thing, the big elephant in the room. But yeah, Michelle Williams is great. She should have gotten an Oscar in 23 for Fablemans, but she decided to go in leading, even though she was probably better suited for supporting and would have swept that category. But yeah, good for her. Glad she's getting more work. Hopefully she gives an Oscar-worthy performance here as well.
Okay, in other news, poor Matthew, who has still not seen Marty Supreme, and at this rate, never will.
What do you mean never will?
You never will. You never will. Okay, you
I'll
never.
watch it
It's gonna
day
be
one when
delayed. It's
it's
gonna be
on digital.
delayed. I'm just saying.
What do you mean
I'm just saying.
delayed? What?
I don't know. I don't know. But he has still not seen Marty Supreme. Great movie, by the way.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
We didn't know it when watching the movie. We knew that Robert Pattinson was a vocal chameleon, but we did not know the full extent, as he was in this movie, and we had no idea. The commentator, the umpire, was Robert Pattinson the whole time. My mind was blown. Matthew
Wow.
can't comment on this because he hasn't seen it. But Dean, was your mind blown, or did you catch it watching the movie?
You know, honestly, none of the above. I just thought that's a cool fact and moved on.
I'm being hyperbolic, okay? Unlike
I am
Euphoria, which
thoroughly
is my
whelmed.
real opinion, and it's just that high. This, I'm being hyperbolic. I mean, it wasn't, but he does have a crazy voice. I didn't recognize him.
Yeah, yeah. He has range. The man
Yeah.
has range.
He did the heron in The Boy and the Heron, and he
Yeah,
sounded
yeah.
nothing like himself, so not the first time. And certainly won't be the last.
It's because Josh Safdie, in quotes, did not know any British people. He was the umpire. Near the opening with the British Open semifinals. Anyways, moving on.
Yeah. Well, it seems that JJ Abrams' new movie that we were talking about 2 weeks ago finally has
Film
its
of the year.
official finally has its official title as The Great Beyond.
Woo! I couldn't give two shits.
Yeah. It stars a lot of people with bad well, who are good actors but have bad career choices. Glenn
Oh
Powell,
God.
Jenna Ortega, and Emma
Oof.
Mackey. Have you guys seen Ella McKay?
Oh God.
How? No, and I never
Has
will.
anyone is the question. How cursed is Jenna Ortega's filmography? Like after this, she
Quite.
has Taika Waititi's Clara and the Sun, which also seems pretty cursed.
Oh.
Death of a Unicorn, Hurry Up Tomorrow, which Jack.
I liked it. I mean, I didn't love it, but I liked it a
Yeah,
lot. I thought the directing was
alright.
great, and it was an experience. It wasn't really on a script level, stimulating, but it was fun.
Yeah, that's fair.
Underrated. If you want to check it out, if you have a good sound system, then I recommend it. If you have nothing else to watch and you like the Weeknd's music, it's entertaining.
Interesting.
You've seen it. You saw it too. Do you disagree?
I honestly don't remember much about it. I thought it was all right, but
Moving on.
The Bride!
Exclamation point.
Exclamation point. The
Yeah.
Bride. Okay, listen. I love the main star, Jessie Buckley. She was incredible
Fantastic
in Hamnet
actress.
and as a front runner for the Oscar this year. Well deserved.
Yeah.
Under-celebrated in I'm Thinking of Ending Things. Still doesn't have a physical release.
Well, that I have problems with that movie, but she was great in it.
She's also great in Fargo season.
Oh yeah.
3 or 4.
Season
I think
3.
season 4.
Well, 4. No, 4.
Yeah.
Which I did not love, but she was great in it. And The Bride continues for me that theme that Hamnet was the exception of, because I don't know, it didn't look horrible, but again, it did not feel very cinematic. It felt like something that should be on HBO Max, and I don't know why they're releasing what should be an October movie in March.
Gotta get those IMAX seats.
How many people are gonna see this in IMAX, though, in March? Let's be real.
Uh,
Like, 1 or 2 weeks before Project
yeah.
Hail Mary, which has
Uh,
we didn't put as a news thing, but has been confirmed for IMAX 70 millimeter.
mhm.
Hey, we counted out Warner Bros. In the past, or some people did, I'm sure,
Yeah.
but they've done some good stuff, even on
They
the main
have,
So,
street.
I will give it a shot, maybe.
Yeah, yeah, me too. I'll be
What
seated.
did y'all think of The Bride?
honestly, I'm less excited now than I was based on the teaser trailer. But
No.
yeah, I can't judge the movie until it comes out. But
That's fair, but just as a trailer, you can judge a trailer.
Yeah,
yeah, like I already said I'm less excited based on the trailer.
I think I'm more excited, honestly.
Oh.
I don't know, it looks fun, more fun than I had thought initially. It has that going for it at least. There it looks like some fun scenes on the dance floor, and yeah, I did not know that Peter Sarsgaard was in it, and I like that guy, so
Who was in it?
good for him. Peter Sarsgaard.
Maggie
Mhm.
Gyllenhaal's her husband.
Oh, oh.
Yeah,
Yes,
so
yes.
nepo pick. He's great. He's great. He's great in the Batman
Yeah.
too.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Okay, so that was surprisingly the less thematic trailer of today.
Yeah. So, recent news just dropped. HBO Max has renewed its deal to bring future A24 movies to the service, starting with Marty Supreme. It's a shame there aren't that many on Canopy anymore,
Mhm.
but I think this is a good decision by them.
Yeah, good. They're getting money so that they can produce more good movies,
Yeah,
like Marty Supreme,
yeah.
which I haven't seen.
I think for a while they were in a really bad rut, but I think recently, I can't say they've fully bounced back to how they were, but they've been releasing definitely more high profile movies as of late,
Mhm,
which is good for them. I mean, it makes sense. I
mhm.
hate to keep bringing up Euphoria, but this is an actual good case of how it connects. Euphoria is actually produced by A24. So it makes sense to me that HBO would, make a deal with them to bring some of
Mhm.
their films to the service.
Yeah, yeah.
Anyways, moving on. One of my most anticipated movies apparently is getting a title shift because David Robert Mitchell's Flowervale Street is getting a new title. We don't know yet, but Abby and DeLuca, who are the masterminds behind Warner Brothers' 2024 success, stated in an interview that they are changing the title for this movie. And apparently, it's also going to be a period piece, which I don't think we knew about. We just knew that it had dinosaurs in it.
Yeah, okay, that makes
Yeah.
sense. My excitement is kind of low because of how many times they've delayed it, but I am curious to see what he brings with two excellent actors, Ian McGregor
Mhm.
and Anne Hathaway.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I loved Under the Silver Lake with Andrew Garfield. I thought it was a nice, paranoid, very bonkers trip through the seedy underbelly of Los Angeles. So, it seems like he's good at like moving between genres,
Mm-hmm.
fluid.
Yeah. Yeah, I already said my thoughts on this when I listed my most anticipated movies, but I mean, if Abby and DeLuca have faith in it, then
Mhm.
I'll have faith in it because they've produced a lot of good movies last year. So yeah.
Earth-shattering news that will change the world. Okay. I don't know how to feel about this. Ronald Reagan, attempted assassin John Hinckley Jr., believes he turned Jodie Foster lesbian. This dude belongs right with the guy at the shipwrecked screening.
Oh
Um,
god.
it's kind of interesting to think about. Maybe we'll bring it back up, probably not later on, as some of the films we're talking about have discussions of mental illness. Uh, so yeah. Do you believe he turned Jodie Foster lesbian? Let us know in the poll.
Oh, probably
If
not.
that's even the poll, that might not be the poll, okay? Maybe. If we
I
can't find a better one, that will be the poll.
There we
So,
go. There we go.
We did talk about him last week briefly when we were talking about criminal being declared legally insane. But yeah,
Oh
in this
yes,
case, I think he did deserve that verdict based
yes,
on what he's
yes.
saying here.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Maybe if on we add him on Twitter, he'll reply to us. Who knows? Seems pretty active on that app. X, I apologize. Not called Twitter. Yeah, well, all we have for y'all next is just a brief update on a piece from last week in which Ethan Hawke said his next film with Richard Linklater will be, quote, among the greatest ever made. Um, the update is, quote, I don't know why I said that. So never be afraid to take back things that were said outrageously instead of doubling down is the lesson I'm taking away from this. It's very non-Trumpian.
Ethan Hawke always has a big mouth, but you know, I'm still excited. I'm still excited.
World of Real got some nice articles out of it.
Still untitled, it will tackle the hippies of the 1830s and 40s,
Oh,
which
that's
is a
cool.
weird topic. The beginnings of feminism, environmentalism, abolitionism, and much more. Oscar Isaac and Natalie Portman will co-star with Ethan Hawke, and is supposed to start in Boston sometime this year.
Yeah, Henry David Thoreau, Emerson, all those guys had led some pretty interesting lives. Whitman, although he came a little later. Yeah, that's interesting.
All right. Well, yeah, looking forward to this. But anyways, moving on. We have an update on the Netflix Warner Brothers situation. Besides the fact that Paramount is still trying to bid for this company that is repeatedly saying no.
And trying to lawsuit them and doing everything they
Yeah.
can like a spoiled brat.
Netflix boss Ted Sarandos has clarified that they are keeping the 45-day window, which hopefully does stick. I feel like he's only saying that for contractual reasons, but I mean, hey, if it works out for Netflix, then maybe we can see stuff like Knives Out getting extended windows.
Mm-hmm.
Hopefully that's the case. What are you guys' thoughts?
I do think they might go down a pathway. I don't think they're saying this about Netflix originals, but once they have Warner Bros., maybe they'll make high profile things like Knives Out, Warner Brothers movies, and then, give those 45-day theatrical windows. I feel like they might do that.
Maybe, maybe.
I don't know. At this stage in the negotiations, I'm finding it hard to take anything seriously, when things are so up in the air.
Yeah.
So we'll see what happens. I'm taking it with a grain of salt.
Yeah, but I mean, at least he's saying this instead of, sticking with his 16-day window thing.
That's true.
Yeah, hopefully
Could be worse.
he keeps his word, but I doubt it.
On to, along with the Euphoria trailer, our next groundbreaking news. A Lucasfilm Star Wars shake with Kathleen Kennedy finally retiring after way too long. I don't know how she was able to keep her position forever, but she's finally stepping down. Although now I'm worried, this is just my personal opinion, I'm curious to see if y'all disagree. We are replacing her with a person that might be even worse, Dave Filoni, as president, along with general manager Lin-Win Brennan, who is more of the business side, will jointly lead the studio behind Star Wars and Indiana Jones, which related, it has come out by a ton of sources that apparently Dave Filoni hated Andor.
Let me clarify. This was from like a screenshot by like a speculator. So like this is not an actual source. Filoni
Huh?
has
I have
publicly
a lot of sources.
praised.
It was like multiple.
No, okay, so no, it was not. It was not. It was like one screenshot from like I don't know, some like weird website like the Wrap or something. And like that spread like wildfire because like everyone loves Andor, and but like Dave Filoni has publicly praised Andor, so I trust his word rather than like this random scoop.
I guess we shall see with the projects he greenlights.
Yeah,
Yeah, he definitely does not make stuff like Andor, which is not good.
I mean, he did produce the Clone Wars, which I love dearly, and it has yeah, it has great moments, like a lot of stuff with the Force.
But would you say that's on the level of Andor?
I mean, some of the arcs in the Clone Wars, certainly. I think the Umbara arc is up there.
Okay.
I have not seen the Clone Wars.
Yeah, I would say like season 7 is like probably like the best George Lucasian, that style of like fantastical action. That was like probably the best Star Wars ever. Honestly. Like it's not Andor style Star Wars, but it's like classic Empire Strikes Back, that type of Star Wars, and like it's probably the best that type of Star Wars since Empire Strikes Back, I would say, for season 7. But yeah, obviously he's not leaning into the Andor stuff, and his recent stuff
Mhm.
hasn't been great. Sure, like
Yeah, that's
the
an understatement for sure.
yeah, for sure. Clone Wars was worked on, or season 7 was worked on at the same time as the Mandalorian stuff, so like he does still have it in him to do some great things. Maybe he's just not fit for live action, but yeah, I'm cautiously optimistic because like he's a great guy and he's a great leader, but maybe not a great live action director.
Okay, yeah. So, along with this news, there have been several updates from an interview with Kathleen Kennedy and other statements made about updates on previously announced future Star Wars films and projects. The first is interesting. James Mangold's film is on hold, but he has an incredible script, but it's on hold. What do y'all think of this? Have y'all been anticipating his project?
Based on his recent work, yeah, honestly,
Wait,
yeah, sure,
really?
I yeah, besides Dial of Destiny, like, he did great with Ford versus Ferrari, and Complete Unknown is competently directed, and he seems to be going more into that direction, and I feel like that's the reason for the hold.
Yeah, I don't know. He's very competent. I still haven't seen Logan, which is really good apparently.
Yeah,
But I can't really think of any standout movies from him that like I would be really excited to recommend to friends.
310 to Yuma,
I can. The
Eh,
Complete
that was
Unknown.
alright.
I liked it. It was a music
Ford
experience in
versus
theaters.
Ferrari,
Great dad movie. Also, a
yeah.
complete unknown, I think, would fall in that dad movie category.
Yeah, very true.
Yeah, I highly doubt that this film is ever going to see the light of day. I think he fucked up so bad with Indiana Jones, and I think it was just, you know, maybe they were trying to give it some space, but I think with this leadership change, they kind of just decided um, that we're done with this. So
I don't know.
we
Filoni
shall
is
see if
more of
it
a
sees the light of
fan
day.
of this Jedi stuff, so I think he
Yeah,
might
but he
fast
probably
track
wants
it.
to rewrite it himself or choose, like, have more
Well,
creative input,
he's not really interested in that era of Star Wars, so
hence being put on hold.
he didn't put it on hold. It was Kathleen or Bob Iger.
Yeah, but he could undo, unless it was Bob Iger, he could undo it. But they
Yeah.
wouldn't announce the same day as him taking over that
Well,
that
I
was placed on
this
hold if
is
he
an
was gonna.
update from Kathleen Kennedy under her leadership. So this is like all like status updates as of Kathleen's leadership. We don't know what Dave Filoni is doing. So yeah, this is all Kathleen.
Which ties into that she specifically states that they are both very on board for a Simon Kinberg trilogy, which
Oh.
I think is a atrocious idea. I like, that's how we're starting this off, this new leadership?
Well, that was already announced like a good while ago. So like this is not a Filoni
Yeah, but they could
decision.
announce it's buried. That's how they should start it. They're announcing
Well,
this other
I
thing's on hold.
Simon Kinberg is like a good producer. I like he got screwed by the whole Bryan Singer. Well, we shall see how that turns out, but there are other exciting pieces of news.
Yeah, like Taika Waititi turned in a script for a film
I
she
was not
calls
talking about
hilarious
that.
and great. I know, but I still gotta mention it, which I
Yeah.
think is horrible. I gotta read off the other two. I'm assuming these are the ones you're talking about, but I'm not
Yes.
excited, so maybe not. Donald Glover has turned in a script for a Lando movie. I no interest from me.
Donald Glover is a great artist, so
He is, but I guess I'd
Atlanta,
be open to it, but
Yeah.
the other bit is
the Hunt for Ben Solo script is also on the back burner.
which is better news than we've heard previously because it was outright canceled according to rumors. So the fact that they're mentioning it rather than, what was previously announced as Bob Iger saying, "Hey, wouldn't audiences be confused by Ben Solo or whatever, even though it's directed by the great Steven Soderbergh?" The fact that she's saying it's on the back burner instead of outright canceled, I think like is more hope than we had previously. So hopefully it moves
Why
forward.
do you want a Hunt for Ben Solo movie? I think this is a terrible idea,
It's Steven
Odie.
Soderbergh. Steven
Even still.
Soderbergh. If
Yeah,
he had
I
like a
trust
great
Steve.
idea, yeah, I trust Steven Soderbergh.
Dean, what do you think?
Mhm.
Does Steven Soderbergh trump the idea of the Hunt for Ben Solo?
Undoubtedly, partly because I think that would make it too many big studio blockbusters which have Hunt in the title alongside The Hunt for Gollum. Maybe Ben Solo and Gollum are hiding out in the same place. Sure, it's a big plot twist.
Talk about cancel culture after the hunt.
Oh god. Mads Mikkelsen,
Uh,
reprises his role as whoever he was in Rogue One.
Wait, so Dean,
uh,
you're excited though for the
I would
Hunt
have
for
been
Ben
much more
Solo?
excited for yeah, for the Soderbergh adaptation, which will now not happen,
well,
is my
no, it is on the back burner now instead of canceled.
Okay,
I
okay.
am so Dean
Yeah,
and I guess are both saying we think it basically means it'll never see
Yeah,
the light
yeah,
of day.
but if it was canceled, I feel like she would have said it was canceled, which
I
was the
don't think she would have
status.
said it because like it never was, as far as I know, officially announced.
Yeah, but the fact that she's mentioning it instead of, like, having this officially canceled is, like, more hope than we had before. So,
that's true.
yeah, but if it was, like, not happening at all, like, she would've said it's canceled, like the Ryan Johnson trilogy apparently is.
They never said it was canceled. She just said that, like, he got, like, cold feet, and then he said she's lying. So I
Yeah.
don't know I don't know what the hell happened.
Anyways, let's go back to the past. Well, first up is that Martin Scorsese was honored by the International 3D Society for Hugo, which I think fair enough. Like, is a pretty good 3D movie.
He was originally gonna be the new James Cameron.
No, this came out after Avatar.
No, I know, but he was gonna at this point in his career, he was almost pivoting to the 3D, to the technical achievements, and he
It's
backed
true.
away, which is a shame because he got a thing for Hugo. I mean, I'm not saying he should have done this for the rest of his career, not at all. But
Yeah.
I don't know. I would love to see him do another 3D or
Hmm.
innovative type
Yeah,
experience like James Cameron with better scripts.
yeah. I really wanted to see The Wager. Yeah,
Oh,
it was very fun, and I think The Wager would have been fun too, but I don't know if we're ever gonna see it, sadly.
I think he or someone else said that he's too old for the wager, unfortunately.
What a
Mm,
shame.
Yeah,
what a shame.
and yeah, he's still. I don't know if he has the energy for like another 3D movie, unfortunately. I wish he did one more, but and his current arc is good too, so I don't want to take away from that. Any other
Yeah,
thoughts?
No, not really. I haven't always loved Martin Scorsese's movies, unlike a lot of people, but I will say that I really commend the dude.
Yeah,
He really strives for greatness. He strives to tell different stories, which I appreciate, and he is a fantastic director at creating amazing performances. Even at times when I think his pacing can suffer, I think he always has a sense of commitment to trying to create really high quality films. So
and great character actor too.
yeah. The studio, He is
Oh
an
my god,
icon.
I forgot about the studio. He was
Yeah.
he should act more. The
Still has that
studio
energy.
was
Still has
he
Agreed.
that
it made
energy.
like Martin Scorsese so much more. Just as a person, as it made me see, more about who he is and what he strives for. I know it was a fictional thing, but just the fact that he was willing to go there with his performance, I think was awesome. I hope he
Yeah.
cameos or has another role on Studio season 2. So yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah, top 10 TikToker as well.
Oh.
Uh, anyways, moving on. Mark Wahlberg. Oh, this is the famous Mark Wahlberg quote. He takes a controversial stance on 9/11. He said that he could have stopped 9/11 if he was on board the plane, but this was also his apology article.
Oh my god, dude.
uh,
Oh, this is the opposite of Martin Scorsese in the studio. This is kind of making me dislike him. I mean, I didn't
Yeah.
know about this. I'm gonna be honest. This is bad. That's
Yeah.
bad.
do you
Yeah.
think he could have stopped
Oh yeah, he
9/11
could
if he
stop.
was
He
on
could have stopped 9/11.
board the
He could have made Jodie Comer straight again. Okay,
Jodie
I
Foster, Comer.
Jodie Foster, not Jodie Comer. Jodie Foster, straight again. Speaking of 28
Oh
years
god.
later, Jodie Comer was in the first one of that. Um,
Alright.
anyways,
Next bit of news. This is a bit sad. This is not the first time or the last time this has happened, but Greek creator, whatever that show was attached to create the Bone movie. And
Oh.
that did not happen. And we know that did not happen again. Thanks, Netflix. And I don't
someday.
think someday, maybe.
Takes me back
Yeah,
to middle
we all
school.
love Bone, right?
Mhm.
Very
And never
sad.
mind. We love
Yeah,
Bone, that's all I'll say.
we love Bone. Yeah,
We love
we
Bone.
love Bone. Next up, Megan Ellison's Annapurna to finance Steven Soderbergh. Speaking of someone that we've talked about in the last couple of
Yeah.
minutes. Yeah, a thriller named Side Effects. We might hear more about this movie later on, but this Ellison has been doing a lot of good work in 2012, so we shall see how this ends up.
Mhm.
I wish she was in charge of Paramount because she was behind a lot of auteur movies in 2012,
Mhm.
and unfortunately, it just seems like her company kind of went nowhere, and Annapurna kind of disappeared. They're still making
Yeah.
things, but not as big as they were in 2012. And now
Yeah.
we are living in the age of David Ellison.
Unfortunately. What a shame.
The last bit of news, yeah, there's a bunch of op-eds on Jeremy Renner. He was previously in Mission Impossible: Ghost Protocol. He was probably going to replace Tom Cruise at a certain point before Tom Cruise decided he wanted to continue. Thank God. But he is also in 2012's Avengers, as well as 2012's Born Legacy. Well, we know how that went. Wish we could talk about this in a certain app.
Ugh.
Yeah, yeah.
It's a shame that he wasn't able to avoid that snowplow or whatever that was. I
What?
forget the
What are you
details
saying?
of
It's a
that.
shame he was unable to. Oh, that what? Okay, I thought you were saying for a
Yes.
second it was a shame that he survived, and I was like, "What the fuck?" I was like, "Whoa, dude!"
Oh god.
I was like, "Whoa." You mean it was a
Oh.
shame that he had the accident?
Yes, yes.
But he's
This
Yes.
back
podcast
on
is
it
very
now.
pro.
He is a
Yeah.
champion. I mean, it
Yeah.
Yeah,
sucks what
wow.
happened, but he came back.
And even though
Mhm.
he has interesting opinions, I'm glad he's back.
Yeah.
He's back.
What would the world be without Jeremy Renner?
Probably the same. We just have a different Knives Out 3. But,
We wouldn't have
no, I
Hawkeye.
like Jeremy Renner a lot. We'll talk about it more when we get to Avengers later this year. But I really
Ah,
like him in the MCU, and I like him in other projects.
yeah.
And he's always down for a joke, in Knives Out
Mhm.
2, Glass
Mhm.
Onion, the Jeremy Renner hot sauce.
and Knives Out
which is
3.
really funny. And I well,
I liked him, even though
but
he mostly played himself. Dean and I both loved
Mhm.
Wake Up Dead Man,
Mhm.
so
well, did you love it overall, or did you love how
yeah.
amazing Josh O'Connor was? Because he was amazing. I
And
love him
Josh
from
O'Connor was a
Challenger.
standout, but I liked it overall, honestly.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
mean, I need to finish
I
it. I don't know. I still don't even know. Mila Kunis was terrible, though, right? Can
Yeah,
we agree
yeah.
on that?
yeah, she
Fucking
didn't really get
atrocious.
that
I
much
love
to
her
do.
usually, and in Family Guy, she's great, and in all these things, I'm like, she should be perfect for a Knives Out movie. And if she wasn't in this, I would give her another chance in Knives Out movie with a better role. But Jesus, it was bad. She was terrible. Oh my god.
Well,
Okay.
we are going on to the main meat of our episode, starting off with 28 years later, The Bone Temple. This is a sequel to last year's
Mhm.
28 years later.
Wah,
Sn-
wah, wah.
Come on, Jack. Come on,
Y'all
Jack.
loved it. But okay, I'll talk about that when we get to me.
Yeah, but
Glorious film, beautiful film.
6 months after the previous movie, which I don't know if it was the right choice, but
Mm,
yeah, this is a movie not directed by the great Danny Boyle, but instead the pretty new Nia DaCosta.
mhm,
Still written by Alex Garland. Yeah, this is shot back to back with 28 years later. 28 years later, one, that is. Very confusing timeline because there's two movies before 28 years later, and then, well, anyways, yeah, I think I'll just start off with my thoughts. I thought this was like a fantastic sequel to a
mhm,
pretty good movie.
mhm,
I think, in part, I think this is a much tighter movie than 28 years later.
mhm,
I think directorially is less interesting, but I think it made for a much cleaner film. Obviously, we got less of Alfie Williams, which was a bit sad, but instead we got a lot of Ray Fiennes, who was great in this.
glorious.
Glorious, glorious, glorious. Music, both in terms of needle drops and the score by Holder Godadalto.
Good nod here, yeah.
Yeah, Gunnar was fantastic. Honestly, like very haunting music at points. Jack O'Connor got to shine in this one. A Sir
Mhm.
Lord Jimmy Crystal, who's based on the totally normal Jimmy Savile. uh, but yeah, his psychoness is great, and I think there's a bit of a twist with him that is kind of relevant to days that we're living in right now.
Mhm,
Yeah, less action in this one, but yeah, great thrilling sequences. A lot less content, but I think much tighter is my overall thoughts. I think I'll probably give this 8 out of 10, honestly.
yeah, I'm largely in agreement with you here. Not to try to predict what Jack is gonna say about 28 years later, the first one too much, but
I respect the first one. I do respect it. You know,
okay,
he
this is
tried.
interesting.
He tried to be innovative, and I'll elaborate that in a sec.
Mhm. Yeah, I do agree with you that that one was a little more directorially interesting, but
Mhm.
as Matthew said, it is much more all over the place. Like, its first sequence is so frenetic and chaotic and has the most ridiculous song playing in the background that it was kind of hard to get into. But ultimately, I really liked the first 28 years later.
Mhm.
And I think this movie largely keeps up the energy and momentum that the first one established. You know, it keeps the pedal to the floor in terms of the the themes that it started developing in the first one and which come to beautiful, glorious fruition in this movie. And really what I loved most about the Bone Temple was the Bone Temple itself and
Mhm.
its singular inhabitant, Dr. Ian Kelson, who is played by Ralph Fiennes in a performance that is so energetic and unhinged, freewheeling, and there's also it has so much range and there's like a deep sadness behind the character,
Hmm.
which he does really well in the movie's quieter moments. Not to spoil anything, we can get to that later. But and I think Jack O'Connell does a great job as well as this really creepy, skeevy cult leader who's also kind of a pathetic, mediocre white man. And it all comes crashing together in the movie's final sequence, which I just thought was amazing and tense and everything that I wanted out of this universe. And yeah, you can tell that they're clearly not interested in, just making a Terrifier 4 or just reusing the same old
Hmm.
genre formula. And they're instead pushing the bounds of the zombie movie and seeing what new territory they can take it in that it hasn't been taken in before. And I really liked that and thought it was very refreshing, not to spoil anything. And just, very tiny quibbles. Like there were some sequences that dragged a little bit. And obviously this is just me, but I felt like some of the references went over my head and the British accents were kind of hard to understand at times. With these thick brogues, but I would also give it an 8 out of 10.
All right. Well, Jack, do you want to go ahead?
Sorry to be the bearer. Okay, starting off with the first 28 years later, I do respect Danny Boyle for trying to innovate. For clearly, it wasn't for a lack of effort, but I thought his directing was all over the place. I think cinematography wise, some shots were stunning, while others within the same scenes looked very low budget and not in like a seemingly intentional way. I thought Jodie Comer was good, but a little bit wasted, and I thought Aaron Taylor Johnson was underused, and he doesn't even return in this movie. I did like a little part at the end with the Bone Temple, that movie, but the last scene made me not want to watch this movie. So, with reluctance, I went today. Um, January release, such a great sign, as you can tell, to give this another shot. Here's my review. Guys, this movie is not good. What
What?
are y'all?
Uh, 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 uh.
This movie
Wrong.
is fucking amazing. I love this
Oh
movie.
god.
Okay, dude.
Wow.
No, this movie, I was fucking, my heart was racing for 3/4 of
Oh
this
my
movie.
god.
I was tense, okay? I teared up. How did we go from the first 28 years later to this movie? Dude, Nia DaCosta knocked it out of the park. Okay, you could say it was less creative, but I still think it was creative enough, and she was focused. Okay, there are so many segments. The score, fantastic with the classical music, but there are so many scenes where the score just goes away, and you're left in uncomfortable silence for what feels like ages. Okay, oh my god, Jack O'Connell nailed it. Ralph Fiennes, oh my god, he deserves an Oscar. I'm blown away. This movie is incredible. If you're like me and you disliked or were underwhelmed by the first 28 years later, check this movie out. It's demonic. The R rating, this was hard R, okay? I saw
Oh
some
yeah.
things I'm not going to forget for a while, okay?
Mhm.
And let me just shout out, we'll talk about him later. We keep mentioning Ralph Fiennes and Jack O'Connell, who are amazing, but
Rafe.
I need Ray Fiennes. I keep fucking saying it wrong. I know. I do that every time with this man's name. I need to shout out this man, Chai Lewis Perry, who plays the
Yes.
Alpha.
Oh my
Dude,
god.
what a performance. Okay.
Ah, it was
Yeah.
incredible.
I
Yeah.
I held it in for 3 hours. I loved this movie. I'm gonna give it, dude, the final act, 8.5 out of 10 for me.
Wow.
We went from a 5
Wow.
to an 8.5. This shit was great.
Okay.
Wow.
Check it out.
Wow.
Woo.
Bone Temple.
I did not expect that, I gotta say.
Yeah.
Yippee! Very nice.
No, before we head on to spoilers, one more thing I want to. I think this if the first 28 years or 28 days later was about man being like monster, and the second one was, not really about that, but more so about like death and what that means. I think this one's comparing what's if monster can become man and, also doing the man being a monster thing, but yeah, pretty
Mhm.
solid.
Mhm.
All right. Where do we start with this amazing
Let's
movie?
start with directing.
It was
Who
incredible.
directed it?
Oh
This
my
is gonna
god.
get heated. Who directed it better? And we're not talking about the better director overall, but just in these two films, Danny Boyle or Nia DaCosta.
You know, honestly, you're kinda convincing me. I gotta go DaCosta
Hmm.
just because the first sequence of 28 years later, it left such a bad taste in my mouth. But, also, there are some genuinely amazing sequences in this movie, like on the train where the alpha completes his transformation, and it's this amazing scene of like slippage between memory and reality, where he's remembering where he was when he was like 8 years old or something, right before he got turned into a zombie. And he returns to the train seat he was in.
Sorry, I don't have a ticket.
It's such an it's an iconic line, I gotta say. If more people watch this movie. Yeah.
Yeah.
Also, his one-word delivery of "moon" was just extraordinary.
Mhm.
And then the shot of the moon, like when
Mhm.
they were showing it.
Not just that, but Ray Fiennes being, like, so tender with him right
Yeah.
before he was gonna kill him, and then when he says that, we're like, how, like, the camera, like, lingers on both of
Yeah.
them.
Mhm.
Just yeah, simply
Mhm.
wonderful.
Yeah, and there are some really great point of view shots from his perspective where we see what the zombies see, what the
Mhm.
infected see, and we genuinely feel empathy for them. We see how hard it is to be someone afflicted with this psychosis, and yeah, I thought it was really impressive, kinda reminded me of Sam Raimi, with those POV shots. I guess specifically that beginning scene in 28 in the Bone Temple where, he is chasing this one poor guy from the island, um, and then right before, uh, decapitating him and, eating his brains, um, we see, like, what this poor islander's face looks like through his perspective. Get the threat. Yeah, I'd go to Costa.
Yeah, the more I think about it, I think as an overall package, like DaCosta was, like for this movie, I think she did a better job than Danny Boyle did. But I do have to give credit to Danny Boyle that like in this movie, there was like only one scene that gave me like a genuine scare. But I think
Hmm,
28 years later, like the first one had more like thrilling action, if that makes sense. I think this movie, honestly, like I think it's partially the script, but I didn't really feel as much tension when those like random hunters were getting chased by those zombies.
hmm,
Meanwhile, like even like
Mm.
a slow zombie in 28 years later felt like
hmm.
really dreadful and horrifying.
Okay.
But maybe
I see what
that's
you're
more the
saying.
script.
I
I
disagree
agree
though.
with
I
you.
thought the zombies, I mean, it wasn't terrible, I guess. It was decent in some shots, but besides one shot of this big bloated zombie that was like big, besides that, in the first one, I didn't feel a lot of tension from the zombies. It didn't feel like I was immersed, like it felt very much like
Really?
I didn't feel
What?
any tension from it
That
in the
scene
first
in, like, the
film. It felt
drainage
cheap to
tunnel
me.
in the darkness? That
In the
was that
Yeah,
was
it
very
didn't
scary.
that it
Yeah.
didn't think it was scary. This film, I
What?
thought, while it didn't have a lot of action, when it did, I thought I was way more tensed up from the zombies.
Mhm.
And especially the
Hmm,
human stuff, I thought was really sinister. Like, not
yeah,
just script-wise,
Mhm.
the way they showed it, like, genuinely made me more unsettled than any film has in a long time.
mhm.
any horror
Mhm.
type of film.
Yeah.
Oh my god, the way they were, like, skinning them and I
Yeah.
thought it was crazy. I thought all of the sacrifice scenes were insane, the opening sequence in the barn. Well, not in the barn, the opening sequence, and then also the barn
Oh.
sequence, like,
Mhm.
separately, but they're kinda similar. I was so tensed up where when that woman gets, like, a whole thing, I don't even know what it was, thrown at her
I
head,
think it's like a
and you
cow
see
hook.
her. Yeah.
Yeah.
I I thought it was crazy. I don't know.
Yeah.
I thought it was way more tense than 28
Mm.
years later, the first one. I didn't think that I felt that film was really silly for most of it, and because of that, it didn't really feel, I don't know, it didn't feel realistic to me. This film has a
Mm.
lot of more lingering shots and, well, not in a bad way, like, it's edited well, it's well-paced in terms of, like, no scene goes on for too long, in my opinion, but
Mhm.
there's lots of shots of the nature in.
Mhm.
I don't know. I was more immersed in this film, for sure.
Yeah, I loved that moment where, we see all the hunters getting chased by the zombies, and like Matthew said, it is weirdly tenseless. And then they
Yeah.
get back to their homestead, and the guy opens the door and says, "We have visitors," with the like most haunted looking facial expression.
Mhm. Oh, that dinner scene was
Yeah.
amazing.
Yeah, the tension there was incredible. Yeah, and I'm curious to see what they do with that random girl who survived, the redheaded girl who.
Well, yeah, I think she's gonna play another major part in the next film, which I hope gets made quicker.
Let me finish my thoughts on the directors though before we move on to like which one should direct the next one. I was gonna say that the use of Spike in the first one, I think, does show like Danny's, I think, ability to be more tender, which I think is also like a bigger strength in the first one. Is that like it's much more tender film. Maybe it's like
Hmm,
partially the script's faults for not having those moments with Spike, but
hmm,
I think the way he directs Spike is, you know, a lot more. I mean, it was Spike's movie, the last one, so
mhm, mhm.
I don't know if it's really fair to compare the two, but
I feel like that's a script thing. Like, the
yeah,
whole thing is that
I
he's in this
agree.
cult.
mm,
Like, it wouldn't make sense to, like,
Yeah.
with the story they chose, it wouldn't make sense if he was, but he even I did think he had moments, and
yeah,
I did feel that there was charm. I felt this movie had a
Mhm.
lot of heart. It didn't have as much with Spike, but it had a lot of heart elsewhere.
Yeah, with
yeah,
Kelson
with
and, the
Kelson,
alpha.
yeah.
Yeah.
Mhm,
But I think Danny Boyle is like a tender filmmaker despite how frenetic he is sometimes. Like there's a lot of emotion in the way he directs things like Steve Jobs. If say it went the way of Dave Fincher, I think it would have been a lot colder than it ended up being. But because it was Danny Boyle doing that movie, it ended up
Fair.
being a lot warmer, and I think that came through in the first 28 years later and how he interacted with his dad and how that ended up and how his mom ended up at the end, which yeah, were both really strong emotional moments, which were, I think, the emotional highs of the previous one were better than the emotional highs here,
I
but
oddly disagree with that,
hmm,
though. I don't agree at all. I agree that Danny Boyle is a warm director. I agree with that. But I think Nia DaCosta is also, it just was mainly the script here, but we get the warmness from
mhm,
Dr. Kelson and
mhm.
Samson. And to me, that really hit
Oh, yeah, Simpson.
really hard to me.
Yeah,
And we get it a tiny bit. It's going to be, I think, explored more in the next one, but with Spike and the girl, the other Jimmy, who, is the one that survives at the end. I think that will be more explored
mhm,
in the next one. But I felt when it did focus on it at the very end, I did feel warmth, which is a testament because it wasn't a huge thing in this movie. And even then, it got
yeah,
me to feel emotion at the end.
mhm, yeah. So, I honestly think that it'd be interesting if Alex Garland directed the next one. Um,
oh,
he's proved his directing
Hmm.
chops.
yeah.
I'd be down.
He scripted the first 2, and he's scripting the 3rd one, I assume, so I would be curious to see a trilogy with 3 different directors. Seems like a pretty classic thing that doesn't happen too often anymore.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah,
yeah.
usually it's like one director doing 2 movies and then a third one jumping in. It's I don't know, I feel like Alex Garland might be the worst choice out of the 3 because
Wow.
I feel like his movies are cold usually. Like, Civil War was quite cold,
Mm.
Annihilation was also not that warm, it was more
Ex
colder.
Machina. True, yeah.
Yeah. So, like, I think he's generally a
Hmm.
cold director, which is, like, something that both Alex Garland and Nia DaCosta, like, pull out from him or his scripts is, like, a genuine sense of warmth.
That's true.
And I wouldn't call him a warm director, but I wouldn't call him a cold one either. I thought Civil War had a lot of emotional moments and a lot of
Mhm,
heart. I completely disagree with you on that. And yeah, no, I don't agree with that at all. I mean, I'm not saying, oh, he needs to direct the third one. I'm just saying I don't think it would necessarily be a cold movie
mhm.
with him directing. And I didn't even think of him with Civil War. I think he would be a really good choice to direct the finale. All I know is I just do not want Danny Boyle
Oh,
to
come
direct this
on.
third movie. I don't want him to. I think he needs to redeem himself with something original. I think he needs to take a step back because
Well, he's shooting something else now, so
exactly.
Oh.
Like
Oh,
Nia
Ink.
DaCosta
Yeah,
just
that's right.
proved. I mean, the first 28 days later, I love. But, it's been a long time since that, and I appreciate him trying to innovate, but I thought his iPhone
mhm.
experiment failed massively. So, I don't know. I thought this I would either get Nia DaCosta back or someone else.
There's a swing and a miss. And, like, if he doesn't try it some of it worked, some of it didn't. Yeah,
Well,
obviously, I would
yeah.
want, like, a more stable film, but
Yeah,
I think he has a higher ceiling, but I think right now, yeah, I do agree that Nia DaCosta is probably the better choice. But I would love to see Danny Boyle reunite with Cillian Murphy again.
that would be good
I'd love to see him
for sure.
reunite with him in a non-28 later film.
Ah,
But, yeah, this movie was very funny in a way that the first 28 years later was not. So I think that is definitely something I want to see more of going forward.
I think there was, like, an equal amount of humor. I think it just hit different with how they portrayed the humor.
I don't know, like the Swedish soldier in 20
yeah.
Years Later, I don't know if his character necessarily worked for me.
Oh, it didn't for me either.
Yeah, like I guess he was kind of supposed to be a sort of comic relief character.
Yeah, I think it broke the tension that
Yeah.
movie kinda needed when it was, like,
Yeah,
mostly horror, but, like,
yeah.
this movie, like, was cutting between the warmth of Kelson and the horrifying nature of Jack O'Connell's character.
Yeah.
So, like, it was already, like, balancing itself by, like, splitting the plot in 2, which the first one didn't have the opportunity to do. I
Mm,
think it was, like, a necessary moment of levity in that movie.
yeah, Kai Lewis Perry, he kills it. I want to see him in more stuff. And I guess in the first one, he and his massive prosthesis were also a source of humor.
Yeah.
He looked so much better in this, like, you could see the
Yeah.
veins of, like, almost like parasites in
Mhm.
his body, and I just thought directorially there was a lot more attention to detail. The first one,
Mm,
Yeah.
shots would just he would be trying things out, but it was so random, and in this, like, shots would look different as if he didn't remember the lens he was using within the same scene when he was doing another shot. So it just was bizarre how it
Mhm.
came across. Whereas this, there's so much attention to continuity and detail, and you can even notice. Did y'all notice the upside down crosses of injury marks on the different Jimmies on their
yeah.
foreheads?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mhm. Mhm. Like Charles Manson, I think he has a
Yeah.
swastika, like, carved into his forehead.
This is a bit off topic, but yeah, the girl who was with Alfie Williams, Erin Kellyman, I think she redeemed herself because she was kinda, like, mid in Solo: A Star Wars Story, and she was also quite bad in, Falcon and the Winter Soldier, so this is good pull from her.
Oh,
Yeah.
she was great in this movie.
Yeah,
Yeah,
she's
yeah,
fantastic.
Yeah.
yeah. I loved her character.
What did you think of the cinematography? It's kinda going along with directing. Did y'all
Ah!
know the cinematography was the same as a film we have discussed on this podcast? If y'all
Oh,
haven't
wow.
seen, can you make a guess?
Interesting,
Like a main film or like a movie that we
Yes, a
mentioned?
main.
Oh,
interesting.
since he's British, would it
Hmm.
be Shame?
Yes, he
Oh my god.
Oh,
cinematographied Shame.
nice.
And
Wow.
also we didn't talk about it, but he did Nia DaCosta's last film, Hedda. Have either of y'all seen
Mm,
that? Because
No.
I thought it was great
unfortunately,
also. Not as good, but
mm, I gotta see it, yeah. But, I don't know, the first one, I thought had a pretty stellar cinematography. If you ignore the iPhone stuff,
Yep.
the nature shots.
On the iPhone stuff, I was gonna mention that I think it worked for that movie because like, it was frenetic because, like, Spike had to run away, so, like, it captured his mood in that moment, while, like, this one was, like, more slower because Dr. Kelson is a much calmer character as well as, like, Spike can't run in this movie, so, like, he has to witness everything, which is why
he
where this
wasn't
movie is
running
fine.
away in the first half of 28 Years Later. He was on a trip with his dad.
Yeah, but, like, he's still escaping from zombies when, like, they did the yelling thing and stuff like that. So I gotta defend the film on that.
And I loved the shot in the first film of, all the zombies silhouetted against the horizon in the, like,
Mhm.
big grassy field. Yeah, all the nature shots, which wasn't yeah, go ahead. Like, both of them had very good nature shots, that was all.
Overall, like, as a zombie movie, 28 years was better, but, like, as a movie, this one was better.
Mhm. Yeah.
Yeah. I also
I
want to
agree
say about the
wholeheartedly.
directing that I thought they made the exact same sets feel higher budget and more grand in this movie
Hmm,
than they did in the first. The way there's certain shots and stuff of Jack O'Connell
Mhm.
walking through the Bone Temple, and it just looks, even though it's the same set, it just looks so much bigger.
yeah.
There's this sweeping shot at one point of the Bone Temple and the nature around it, and you see, I forgot her name, but the girl from Falcon and the Winter Soldier walking towards the
Erin
Bone
Kellyman.
Temple. Yes. And it's a more
Mhm,
intimate film than the first, but it oddly feels bigger.
mhm,
I think
mhm.
part of that has to do with the fact that they use, normal cameras instead of iPhones in this one, because iPhones can't really do, telephoto, you know, so, yeah. I think that just comes down to the lenses they used.
Well, no, it was like the composition, I think. It
Yeah,
was
but,
the
like,
way they were
you
showing the
can't
shots.
capture like, iPhone like, lenses have this, like, ability to, like, transform the image, and if you only have, like, an iPhone, you can't like, there's a limitation with what you can do with an iPhone because its sensor is much smaller.
What did y'all think of the final act? I
I
loved
loved it.
how Dr.
Oh my god,
Kelson
Dr.
was
Kelson
playing
is
Satan.
crazy.
Oh my god, I was like, the song drops in this movie were incredible.
Yeah,
Okay, the
yeah.
Radiohead drop, the Duran Duran,
Mhm. Uh,
Ordinary World, I think, and,
Dun, dun, dun,
um,
dun, 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 dun.
yeah, the scene where he is posing as Satan, I thought was so camp in the best way
Yeah.
Yeah.
possible, but it fit. It was, like, serious enough to be impactful.
Yeah. It really puts you in their shoes with,
Mhm.
random guy blowing powder in your face, um, blurry perspective through the mask and things.
Yeah.
I loved it, and he goes for it, He moves the way he moves. He's never been more like Voldemort. Um,
Uh, before we go into final thoughts, I just wanted to go deeper into something that I talked about earlier, and that's about how this movie compares and contrasts between how we treat, creatures and how human that they can be versus, how monsters us humans can be and how creature like we can act. And I think this shows in the way that the tender relationship between Samson and Kelson. First, we think of Samson based on what we see in the first movie as like this creature that, can't really control himself. But when we get into this movie, we start to learn more and more about Samson and like how he should be treated, like how we treat ourselves and how we treat
Mhm.
each other instead of like
Mhm.
just this bumbling creature. And I
Yeah.
think that, tenderness really comes across. And I think that's like one of the strongest points of the movie. But in comparison, the way Jimmy Crystal acts and how monstrous
Mm.
he is, like, shows
Mhm.
how evil we can be and how animal-like we can be, and
Mhm.
we lie to go things our way, and, like, the thing I was talking about with the relevance of this movie is, like, how Jimmy doesn't even fully believe in his satanic cause, he just wants
Yeah.
power, as we can see in, like,
Mhm.
the real world with a lot of people. I won't
Mhm.
mention specific names, but, the way he lies to his cult and gain more power is just something that's, like, in a way, just so simple-minded. They're not trying to work together, he's just trying to be the apex predator, basically.
Yeah.
The alpha wolf, and, alpha wolf, there's a lot of baggage to that word, but, you know what I mean, like, the leader of the pack so that, like, other
Yeah.
people can't get in his way,
Yeah.
and, yeah, that the movie does a really good job at contrasting those 2
Mhm.
sides of the coin.
The conversation between Kelson and Jimmy Crystal was so interesting for that reason because we see their diametrically opposed approaches to life. Where, Kelson, he shows genuine empathy for Samson and sees Samson as a human being because Samson is a human being who cares for Kelson. And he goes through this whole dilemma about medical ethics and
Mhm,
whether it's okay to, lethally inject Samson without his consent. And then fast forward to the scene where he meets Jimmy Crystal, and Jimmy Crystal, like, kind of for the first time, we see him show some sort of vulnerability or childlike
mhm,
nature because, fundamentally he is a child. And so it was really interesting scene in that respect. And also because later, Kelson confides to Samson that that was the first time he had felt genuine fear in a while, was in the presence of this
mhm.
child. So that was really interesting.
It kind of reminded me of Girl with the Dragon Tattoo, how they kept the plot lines separate, and then when they met up, it felt like worlds were colliding.
Yeah.
I thought all of the conversations they had between Dr. Kelson and Sir Jimmy Crystal were iconic.
Yeah.
I honestly my main thing about the plot
Ugh.
that I would have done differently or would have hoped for is maybe have it be longer and have more schemes they have to orchestrate together throughout the film instead of just at the end, because I thought everything in the final act was so gold
Yeah.
that I just wanted more of it. It's a little selfish, but I'm like, it was so good. I was laughing my ass off. I was, like, nervous. It was
Yeah.
so cinematic how, like, all the candles I don't know how he put all the
Oh,
candles in one day, but he did it, and it looked crazy.
what
So,
an
yeah, I
icon.
just thought the relationship between them and just everyone, it was just a lot
Mhm.
more focused. I felt like besides some of the Jimmies, which it makes sense because 'cause they're in a cult, but besides them, I felt like everyone who was in this movie really had time to shine,
Yeah.
which I didn't feel like with the first one with Aaron Taylor Johnson. There wasn't any notable in this movie, there weren't any notable things of like, "Oh, like, we should have, done that way more," except what I'm saying about the scheming, but that's not a character, that's just a plot thing.
Yeah.
But it made it worthwhile in the end.
Mhm.
And I love the moment when Dr. Kelson realizes that Spike is under one of those masks. I think it's such a haunting moment,
Yeah.
considering
Yeah,
that
full
the
of
top
heart.
of the bone temple was his mom's skull. Um,
Mhm.
and also I find interesting in this movie that, Ralph, like Dr. Kelson, like,
Rafe.
figured out I
Mhm.
keep saying it wrong, god damn it. Oh my god. Ray finds Dr. Kelson finds out the cure, and he dies before it's like the cure dies with him. But I do
Mhm.
wonder because
Uh,
Alpha was restored, does he remember the dosage? Can he recreate the cure?
I
yeah,
don't
there's
think
no way they leave
so.
that in the second movie, like, he wrote down all of his
Yeah.
recipes and things,
Oh,
so
he did. Okay, he
really
did. But did he write down when he
yeah.
discovered at the end? Because it seemed like it was more of an idea he had spontaneously when he realized that the
Hmm,
Alpha was saying like moon.
that's
Like, did
true.
he have time to write it down in the chaos of the Jimmy Crystalness?
The Jimmys, unclear, that's true. It will remain a mystery until the 3rd one comes out.
Yeah,
Hopefully
is the
not too
third one gonna
soon.
be about a mission of them trying to spread this cure?
It seems like that's a natural ending if they're gonna stop making these movies, which would be sad but
Speaking
understandable.
on a ending, what do you think happened to the other two survivors from the first movie?
I'm gonna hope they're still alive because and they just weren't shown because they were mentioning like the daughter taking a test, like they were in a civilization, right? Like a government class.
Well, but no, but the test was made by Jim.
I thought he was prepping her.
No, Jim said, "What if this was gonna be on the test?" And then she says, "But you made the test." So like,
Oh, I missed that.
yeah,
Well, whatever, but
Ah,
that'd be
that's a good
sad.
point.
I wanna see her back. I wanna see the return. He had a daughter, okay? It was moving. I loved how realistic his introduction was. It was not some MCU moment. It was so
Yeah,
nonchalant, but it
yeah,
worked so well. Like, you didn't have to even watch the first one. You could just see it as like, "Oh, there's these new people who are
mhm,
another batch of survivors." If you've seen the first one, it's such a powerful moment of him returning. The saga starts and ends with him.
and, the lesson fit in perfectly with what happens next where they save Jimmy Inc. and Alfie. I think it was vaguely about Russia and Ukraine, but maybe I was just making stuff up.
it was about World War II and Churchill. Are you talking about the test?
Yeah, and then she was like, "What does this have to do about post-Soviet Russia?"
I think it's good to know the past so you can make better choices in the
Yeah?
future.
Yeah, that's what he says.
Yeah, I agree. I agree with
We
that.
should
Um,
help out our neighbors.
yeah, and I think it shows at the end with Dr. Kelson and them that there is good left in humanity after we've
Yeah,
seen all this
Yeah,
depravity. And the scene where Spike begs the woman to like let him go with her and escape from the cult and she betrays him is kind of like a heartbreaking moment.
yeah,
I think it really is important to see this warmth after all the chaos and depravity
yeah,
and the scene
yeah,
with Spike being ignored and betrayed by the woman, also escaping when he wants to escape the cult, I thought was heartbreaking. So to basically see with Dr.
yeah,
Kelson and the ending, with these people that we know, we've had a journey with them in a previous film, so we know how they're good people. It really brings a sense of warmth and like a realistic sense of warmth and hope that I think is
mhm,
really powerful.
mhm.
But I don't think she's like a situation like with Star Wars The Last Jedi where she ruins the universe in the process. I do think she has enough care to, leave her be out of that.
Also helps that Alex Garland wrote all of them. She's like mostly a director for hire, which she did
I mean, true, yeah.
a really good job of being like a director for hire.
yeah,
Yeah. I guess final thoughts.
Overall, like fantastic movie. Go see it.
mhm,
Support this movie
yes,
because it's
yes,
not doing
Support
too
it.
hot.
mhm,
It is
and
not
I
like your typical January release, and this is coming from someone who was very underwhelmed. Like, previously, Danny Boyle was one of my favorite directors, and he maybe still is because of everything he's created. He really dropped the ball for me last time. So even if you were disappointed like me, check this movie out. Give it a chance because I think you're gonna be really surprised. And I just think this film is super hardcore. It's meditative at times, but it really goes for the gut in
mhm,
its intent, its graphicness, its intensity, and I think this franchise is getting back on track. So I'm excited for a new chapter.
mhm. It takes so many risks in the way that it treats its source material. Like, it is not a zombie movie, or it's not even interested in being a zombie movie. It's just more interested in being a good movie overall, and it succeeds in that remarkably. It's funny, it's tense. There are scenes that will make your skin crawl, and it has an A minus cinema score, which is quite rare for horror. It deserves to be rewarded for its risks, for sure. It's anti Netflix vibe.
Well, Sony is not really anti-Netflix. They're quite
Unfortunately so.
pro Netflix.
Yeah, this will be going to Netflix in a few months. If you won't see it in theaters, at least watch it on Netflix in
Yeah.
4K. Give it a chance. And
Yeah.
you will be disturbed, and you should be.
Let's move on to Chronicle, a 2012 found footage superhero movie, which you don't really see. It's directed by a interesting guy, Josh Trank, and
Mhm.
written by a completely normal guy, Max Landis. This was one
Jeez.
of two movies that came out in early 2012 that jump-started Michael B. Jordan's career. The other one being Red Tail.
Lucasfilm produced.
This movie was released in February, but we're talking about it now because, yeah, we don't really have a place to fit this. So that's what we decided to do. And this movie was produced by 20th Century Fox, and it premiered actually in France, out of all places,
Huh.
at the
Hmm.
Jura Mender Festival International. But anyways, yeah, this was based on an idea from Josh Trank, who thought about this idea since high school, which might set the tone of the movie. He hired Linus after his initial writer, who wrote Fantastic Four with him, ditched him.
Oh god.
Um, yeah, actually, Miles Teller was initially supposed to be in this movie, but he turned it down and appeared in a different found footage film. And in this movie is shot in Cape Town.
Hmm.
Anyways, on to the film. What are your thoughts on the movie?
So, I actually watched this movie when it first came out, when I was all of 10 years old. Um, which, in retrospect is probably too young, but a lot of this stuff flew straight over my head, just like the main characters. I remember being really thrilled with this movie as a 10-year-old just because it was something I never seen before. And, obviously I had seen superhero movies, but I had never seen something so fresh. And I think it might have been my first found footage movie, or quote
Oh.
unquote found footage, since this movie kind of does it weirdly, but we'll talk about it. So, all that is to say, I loved this movie on my first watch, and on my second watch, 14 years later, I was a little more mixed, but on the whole, I still thought it was a really entertaining piece
Mhm.
of cinema. I thought they did really interesting things with, the camera movement, the floating camera,
Mm.
which is one of the superpowers of, or all of them, but primarily the guy named Andrew,
Andrew.
played by Dane DeHaan. Some other positives. It was very funny in a way that I did not remember, maybe unintentionally. And honestly, I still do think it is kind of a fresh story, kind of a neat take on the
Mhm.
superhero myth. And I think it does the origin story really well by shrouding everything in mystery, not like telling us what planet this thing came from or whatever, but just putting us in these characters' perspectives and showing them as real teenage boys doing ridiculous and very immature things with their newfound powers instead of ending hunger or world peace. But the script of this movie is definitely something a 10-year-old boy would like, I must say.
Uh,
Would you say a Zack Snyder would like?
Mhm.
but you, as a 10-year-old boy, liked it.
This is true. So it succeeded with its target
Yeah.
demographic.
I don't think that was the target demographic.
That's true.
I mean, I think slightly older boys were the target demographic who are fans of Zack Snyder.
Yeah. And the last thing I wanted to say was, found footage movies, they can seem very gimmicky, but I liked how this movie kind of leaned into that, and
Mhm.
it kind of like played fast and loose with the format, which, it's a good thing and a bad thing, but
Yeah.
we will talk about it. And we will also talk about the script, just because I do not want it to be on the record that I liked this script. So, yeah.
Hmm.
Any final thoughts and
I think I give this movie a 7 out of 10.
okay.
Yeah. Short.
Moving on to my thoughts on this movie. I thought this was pretty good. I don't think it's anything magical, but like for a directorial debut, Dean said a lot of creative uses of the found footage formats, which I think also inspired a certain other filmmaker to make his movie not so great.
Oh god.
Maybe like a filmmaker I direct. I said a couple minutes ago, but yeah, specifically in Man of Steel, I can see how that movie stole from this movie. I liked how at first it felt realistic how these teenagers were portrayed. And, I think that's something that Max Landis specifically does well, despite being, I think his comic book stories like have a they have like an edginess to them, but they also have like a more grounded feel to them that kind of meshes in a fun way, I would say. I don't know if it's
Mhm.
necessarily good all the time, but I thought the build up to how they were using the powers was pretty great. And just them hanging out was probably the best part of the movie, honestly. Like it just felt like
Yeah,
three guys just getting to know each other and
yeah,
learning more about themselves and the world until it kind of took a turn, which we
yeah.
might discuss. I think there's like a good thematic element that maybe isn't fully explored. It's that is using that found footage format really well. Well, and since I said it's not written that well, maybe it's not the most well done, but I think the way that the separation between Andrew and his friends and the camera and how that like divides
Mhm.
them is sort of in a weird way like how directors see the world. And I think that's like an aspect that Josh Trank put into the script. I think that's not the only part
Mhm.
that he put into the script, in my opinion, but I think that aspect was explored pretty good
Mhm.
in like an interesting way, and how like that camera, the gap between the camera and the subject matter kind of separates you as a person
Yeah,
and the real world.
yeah.
And yeah, besides that, yeah, onto a bit of negatives, I guess. I think the script is very edgy. And I think that comes from Josh Trank. I
Oh
think
god.
you can tell that he had this idea since he was in high school, because I feel like there's some of himself in Dane DeHaan's character.
Yeah,
But
yep.
yeah, we'll get more into depth later on. But overall, yeah, pretty interesting movie with some interesting ideas. I think it's a pretty good usage of the found footage format. Yeah, I'd give it a 7 as well.
Okay. So I am very conflicted on this movie. I will say I was pleasantly surprised because my expectations were in the toilet. Okay, so I'm gonna be
Understandably.
honest, I did choose to go last because again it was kind of like Bone Temple where I'm like, I liked it, but there's a caveat. For reasons I will not spoil, but there's a bold
Yeah.
decision, and I liked the bold decision, but where it left us for the final act, I didn't love the final act
Mhm.
as much. I thought the first two thirds, while not amazing, were entertaining, well paced, performances were realistic, it was clever, a little cringe, but fittingly so for these people, right?
Yeah.
Oh my god,
Yeah.
I got flashbacks when they played that price tag Jessie J song. If anyone
All
else
about the
remembers
money,
that.
money, money.
Money, money,
Money, money,
money, money.
money. Forget about the prize.
I don't know what in the world to give this film, I wrote down 7, but then I but then the more I thought about the final act, there's a scene or 2 I liked in the final act, but it just became a bit generic. I thought the very last scene at the end, without spoilers, was emotional, and I did feel moved. So that is a good thing of the film. So I definitely wasn't bad. My favorite part was Michael B. Jordan. We know
Yes.
he's an amazing actor, but he was so fun.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I
So
mean, it kind of
charismatic.
reminded me of us 3 watching this movie, especially him with, like, the reactions and the lines and the way he says the lines, and, like, there was a line he said early on where he was like, "Wait, how creepy is that?" And it's not that good of a line, but the way he
Yeah.
delivers it is,
Mhm.
like, great, and then the way it quickly cuts after. So I was li I loved him in the movie. I thought he was fantastic, which
Yeah.
I'm glad he got more
Yeah.
chances. I'm really sad though he had to endure first Fantastic Four or Fan Four Stick, also
Uh,
Josh Trank. I don't know what happened to Josh Trank because this wasn't an incredible directorial effort, but it was a very good one.
especially as a debut.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so I don't know. I need to watch Capone. I heard it's the movie where they show Capone shitting his pants, Tom Hardy. So I need to see that movie. So I was
Oh my
gonna give it a
god.
7, but the more I think about it, I'm definitely no lower than a 6, but I'm at anywhere between a 6, 6.5, and 7 because of that final act. And without it,
Mhm.
I could be as upwards as like a low 8. But with that final act, I as soon as we start the spoilers, the first thing I'll do is explain what I'm talking about with the final act.
This is a good transition point. What did you
Yeah.
think
Yeah.
about the final act?
I loved the bold choice to kill Michael B. Jordan's character,
Mhm.
but
Yeah.
he was the one I liked the most. So when he
Yeah.
was gone, I was like, "Oh, I don't care about these 2 people as much." I mean, they were
Honestly,
relatable, they were fine, and I really liked the main actor.
yeah,
Not
Dane
nearly as
DeHaan.
good as Michael
Yeah.
B. Jordan, but I
Mhm.
thought the 3rd guy was weak. He wasn't terrible,
Yeah.
but he was just there. I mean, you have
The
Michael B.
screaming
Jordan and
I
the main
I
Andrew.
think I
guy.
have a weird attachment to him for obvious reasons.
By the way, did the 3rd act was
Gnats.
this not a Amazing Spider-Man 2
Oh my
prequel,
god.
Green Goblin Origins? Okay. Same dude,
I
but
just thought
no, I
his
liked the hospital scene in the 3rd act, and I liked the intent, but I just thought
oh
I
man.
liked the very end scene where I thought that was the best acting of him in the film is at the final
Yeah.
scene where he goes to the
Yeah.
monastery, you know? I thought that was
The way
emotional, even if it looked cringe, but the final act, I'm like, "Well, my favorite character is gone." And I they made me understand the main character, I mean, main, like, the one who survives up until
Mhm.
the very end, but is killed
Andrew.
off, Andrew. But, like, they made me relate, but I didn't he was turning evil, I wasn't, like,
Yeah,
rooting
and
for
he has
him,
the
and the other
Yeah.
guy
most
was bland, so I just was like,
the way he screams Andrew is so ridiculous in that,
"Oh my
Yeah.
god, that
climactic
was
battle
terrible."
scene.
Yeah.
Andrew,
Andrew!
I
Andrew,
liked the
Andrew,
death, I just didn't like
Andrew,
I like the idea, I
Andrew.
just kinda
He
wish Michael
needs
B.
help.
Jordan was still there because he was so much of the heart and the fun
Yeah.
of this movie, and there's so many
Yeah.
great scenes with Andrew before he turns evil and Michael B. Jordan playing off each other, and it's fun, and I'm like, it's
Mhm.
not it's a
Mhm.
little generic, but it's refreshing.
Yeah. It's
Yeah.
like a teen comedy mixed with a superhero movie.
Yeah, and I'm like,
Mhm,
you know what it
mhm.
showed me? I'm gonna go back to Euphoria again. Let me say it. If there was a season 4 and it was like these characters are getting superpowers, right? I would be like, what the hell are they doing? Like, I don't think you should do this. But you know what? This movie proved if they announced that, I'd be reluctant, but I'd give it a chance. I cautiously give
That
it
would
a
be
chance
great.
because honestly, this proved that you can make superhero stuff emotional and,
Yeah.
I don't want Euphoria to do that, but if
Mhm.
they announced it, I wouldn't be like, "Let's go," but I would give it a shot,
Yeah.
and I never would have thought that before this movie because some people have joked online about that in the past. No, but this movie, I liked the boldness of killing Michael B. Jordan. I
Yeah.
wish it was at the end because I don't know, I
Mhm.
liked him the most. He was fun.
Yeah, he was just The heart and soul, the talent show
I
scene.
don't think it's not just the fact that he leaves, but it's also the fact that besides the funeral, Matt barely interacts with Andrew for like 30
That's
minutes in
true.
the movie.
Mhm.
There's no one to bounce off of
Mhm,
when the
mhm.
cameraman is like the only one being shown. So
Yeah, he has some lame
he's
line like, "I
yeah.
should've reached out," and then, it's clearly they're trying to explain why he was gone for so long, but it's meh. Eh.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think like it would have been fine if they were still like talking to each other.
About the final act, or I guess about Andrew in general, I thought it was kind of ridiculous how his traumatic backstory was kind of dialed up to 11, where he just had every very sad.
And not just the final act, just in general.
He's
Yeah.
constantly getting bullied, and honestly, at a certain point, I felt terrible, but I was just kind of laughing at how ridiculous it was,
Yeah.
like, not I'm not
Yeah.
saying that, like, there aren't people like this,
Mhm.
but it was a teenager's idea of a grounded, realistic backstory as to
Yeah.
why someone would have this school shooter arc, uh, um,
Yeah,
Uh,
it was very
yeah.
generic. It was like
Very
I
yeah,
understood it, but and I mean the actor did his best.
yeah.
I'm
Well,
not blaming him at all. I wouldn't say it's an amazing performance.
honestly, he plays that character perfectly.
He
Yeah,
does. No,
It's just the
he does.
writing is
It's
yeah,
just the writing is what I'm yeah, I
yeah.
agree.
yeah.
It's what I'm saying. I think a top tier actor could have elevated it further, but I don't think he did a bad job. I think he
Yeah.
did a great job for
Yeah,
what he was
Mhm.
given. But Michael B. Jordan, again, it was like he was given so many lines that would have been unfunny by any other actor, and he
yeah,
made it the
Yeah.
star. Like, that's how
yeah.
impressive it is. And then you go to
Mhm.
that, and it's like, oh my God, like, this is the same guy from Sinners. And now he's like playing two people at once. And it's like, I mean, the
He
dude
just
is
has the
an
riz.
amazing actor, and he has
Yeah.
such great versatility, which I love
Mhm.
about him.
He's a star.
Was this his, like, first film? That I didn't look up.
No, he was a child actor, but I think this is his first adult film combined with Red Tail.
Nice.
Yeah, yeah.
And, shout out to Fruitvale Station 2014.
Yeah,
Amazing movie.
Need to rewatch it.
Yeah,
yeah.
it's incredible.
It started a great partnership. Let me say my thoughts about the final act. I thought I can see where Zack Snyder got the idea for his final act for Man of Steel. This one had an excuse of not being that well shot, but yeah, Man of Steel didn't have an excuse at all.
The final act with this was when he was, like, snapping Zod's neck and just destroying all these buildings. Oh my god, I'm sorry, I'm not a Man of Steel fan.
Me neither. Anyways, I think going on from that ending and how we all don't really like Andrew, I feel like there's a bit of Josh Trank in Andrew as well. He asks us to like sympathize with this
Mhm.
kid, but he's basically
Well,
like a incel. No, he literally is
Yep,
an
that's
incel.
exactly it. Yeah.
yeah, I mean, I don't think they were telling us to I don't know, I will say I do think they towed the line enough where I don't think they were saying you should sympathize with him in terms of, like,
Yeah.
agree with him, it's like a tragedy almost,
Yeah,
but I I don't know, it just became the most generic like, I liked the hospital
yeah.
scene where he blows that up.
Yeah.
Mhm, same.
Everything after Michael B. Jordan's death, I would have reshot it.
No, honestly, like him throwing up at that girl, and then from that point, like I think it kind of turned into like an edgelord.
Oh, I totally forgot about that
Yep,
scene, that was
that
bad too,
that
but
was
that was right
it was
before
ridiculous.
but
Yeah.
it came right after the scene I liked of them doing the ping pong shots and then the,
Yeah,
talent show, so I kinda forgot about the whole
Up to the talent show and the party, it was good, but then, like, when he threw up on
yeah.
that girl, that's when it kinda
Yeah, I just didn't really
fell
think of
apart.
that. I guess because at that point, I didn't know the film would continue to get worse. But I'm talking about in terms of a structure of, like, where you really made a bold decision that fucked up your final act would be him dying. it got a little bad before
Yeah.
then, but, like, that's where it's like you can't redeem it back because I'm like, Michael B. Jordan's gone. You just
Mm.
took away the best character of your movie.
Yeah.
So, I mean,
I don't know, they could have slightly fixed it by, like, having him talk to Matt more instead of him being, like, a loner incel school shooter
Yeah.
character.
but it was the actor
Yeah.
for Matt too. He wasn't
Well, yeah, he wasn't good, but, like,
Sorry, Matt.
that would have been worse, honestly. Because I'm telling you, would have been bad with that
the
actor.
thing is, he needs someone to bounce off of in order to be, like, a
Yeah.
good found footage movie, but he doesn't have anyone to bounce off of. Like, I think the scene on at the
Mhm.
lake was, like, pretty good where he's like, "Did you like me before I got these powers?" And, like, he's, like, kinda conflicted on saying what to say, and, like, those types of interactions would have built up more to that ending instead of, like, him suddenly saying, "Oh, I always loved you, man." But, but I think the core high school coming of age aspect was really good, or
Yeah.
not really good, but, like, it's good.
Well, it was adequate, and then the actors did the heavy lifting.
I still, like, it felt realistic, and the fact that he put
Yeah.
it in there, like,
Mhm.
made it, like, realistic in a fun way, not realistic in a edgelord way.
Oh god.
Yeah,
You can definitely see the warning signs for Fantastic Four, where he's just
Yeah.
someone who's full of grievances toward everyone and everything.
Mhm.
He's the main character. I don't know, I know nothing about this man.
I guess I'll go with a 6 as my rating. 'Cause
And,
I was torn, but it really that final act really before it's a 7.5 for what it is, and then with that final act, it just drops to a 6 for me.
honestly, I thought it was kinda weak when they just went to a bunch of random people's home videos or security cam footage, as opposed to, just sticking with
Yeah.
Andrew's camera because
I think the security was fine, but I think
I don't know.
the final scene took me out. Like, it felt like a
Yeah.
CW finale. Like,
Yeah.
Oh, it
"You can't
totally
save the
did.
city."
I watched the Flash, but let me clarify, let's not completely hate on the CW. No disrespect on the CW, that's my childhood right there, okay? I will disrespect some of it, but this looked worse, okay,
You need to go
than
faster.
CW.
Oh god.
Uh, no, but, like, that ending was straight out of the CW, like, every time, like, it always ends up in a plaza, and then, like, they have to use their superpowers to save the day, and that's exactly what Matt did, which was my point. And the found footage aspect was completely gone because, like, I think it was supposed to be, like,
Mhm.
body cams, but it just felt
Yeah,
like
which it didn't make any sense. Like,
yeah.
Ugh.
it's too polished. I would have liked it, honestly, if it was one single security cam the whole time. That would have
Yeah.
felt interesting.
Oh
Um,
god.
Or that the blogger girl, it should have been from her perspective.
yeah, oh god, that was the most ridiculous romance between
Yeah,
Matt
like,
and
That was
just
pretty bad. That
that's
was,
like,
like,
that's
near
bad.
Promised Land levels.
I thought it was gonna be between her and Andrew, not her and
Well, I
Matt,
think
like,
that
that
was the
It was
kinda
so
point, like,
bad.
he stole the girl, and that's why he was so emo. But then they
but, like
didn't
It was
explore
terrible.
it, so
yeah,
She
exactly.
she was,
this
like,
film
the
is getting
worst written
worse and
character.
worse the more we talk about it,
No,
for
but, like,
me.
I think
I
the good aspects are, like, really creative and
Well,
fun.
I mean, they're refreshing, but I wouldn't say they were that original.
Well, I'd say the aspect of using the superpowers to make it look cinematic was pretty creative.
Well, I mean, they got superpowers, they're not gonna not use them.
Well, like, using telekinesis to make, like, a cinematic looking movie from a found footage, I think
I thought it looked
well,
like a
not
TV show, and
everything.
that's fine, but I didn't think it looked that I don't
I don't
know.
know.
I just
Like, I feel like the effects were good for 2012. I don't know, they're definitely a little dated.
I'm not talking about the final act, I'm talking about, like, when they're just hanging out, but then, like, the camera, like,
Oh,
hovers around them.
my bad. I was thinking of the stuff with the final act,
Oh, no,
where
no,
that
yeah,
was like,
final
"Oh
act
my
was, like,
god, like, you
whatever
don't have a
footage.
big budget, don't do this
No, no,
shittily."
no, 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 I am not talking about the final act. The final act is, like,
Okay,
generic
good to
superhero stuff.
clarify. Then I do think their powers looked good earlier. Let me
Yeah,
clarify
exactly.
that. Really good
Mhm.
earlier.
I think, like, a first person point of view of him flying was, like, pretty magical, honestly.
Yeah,
Oh,
yeah.
yeah. I
And then,
agree.
like, him slowly moving the camera away from himself,
Oh, yeah, that was great.
really cool,
Mhm,
and that's the stuff I liked about this movie before it
mhm.
turned into, like, a edgelord fantasy. So, like, I can't say I can dock too many points away because, like, the parts that were creative were, like, yeah, pretty nice and creative.
I just think as a director or a screenwriter, if you know how around the budget of what your film is, an indie film,
Yeah.
you gotta find ways to make the best movie you can with that, but you're not making the best movie by just writing an insanely budgeted film and then taking huge shortcuts and having it look like crap with the final act. I don't think that's like a wise decision.
Yeah, but to be fair, I feel like part of that is, like, coming from Max Landis as a comic book writer. He's used to having, like, more creative freedom than doing, like, an indie
Yeah.
film.
I guess I get that. They just should have done a rewrite.
I would blame Josh Trank on having him being, like, an edgy teenager, but I won't blame him too harshly on the final act because that's, like, a standard comic book final act, and I think that came more from Max Landis.
I guess my problem is, while it's not that original, it is a refreshing take on a superhero movie, and then it just devolves into that we have to do that final act like a superhero movie. But I'm like, you're not really a superhero movie. Like, you're a
Mm,
take on
yeah,
superheroes.
Yeah.
You're
grounded.
like Euphoria with superpowers.
Mhm.
You're not this superhero movie. The audience doesn't necessarily want that final act because you're not getting anything like a
Well,
superhero movie in the first 2 acts, really.
for an indie movie, like, it made, like, solid money, so I think the audience kinda
Mhm.
did want that, but
Well, but I need to see trailers, like, was it misadvertised?
Weirdly, my memory of this movie is very vivid for some reason.
Mhm.
Maybe it was, like, the first quote unquote "adult" movie I saw in the theaters. But I
Adults.
was I did not turn into an edgelord, I hope.
Thank God you're not a Zack Snyder cultist.
Oh god. I don't think the podcast
Ha
would fall
r
apart.
slash Zack Snyder,
Oh
or r
god.
slash Snyder Cuts.
Hopefully, they don't find us. That would be disastrous.
Yeah.
But, yeah, I was really excited, and I think the marketing, they emphasized the found footage aspect in a way that was good.
Mm.
I don't know. I think the only other thing I had was just it was kinda shocking for me, like, the way his father's abuse was so, like, directly depicted on camera.
Yeah.
Like, I did not expect that at all, and I did not remember that from my first watch.
I think, yeah, Josh Trank really put his trauma in there because 'cause I'm pretty sure that came from Josh Trank.
Yeah.
But he also put it in Fantastic Four too, I think.
Yeah. One Trick Pony, maybe. Who knows? Maybe Capone has
All
another trick.
final thoughts?
The more and more we talked about this movie, the lower and lower it went, and I'm gonna
Agreed.
give it a
Agreed.
respectful 6. Um, so Yeah, I was at a 7.5, and then the more I think about the final act, the more it lower and lower and lower.
For me, the highs were just so high that I'm sticking with 7.
Same, same. I think the teenagers using their superpowers aspect was really fun. It was done well until a certain point, but up until that point is a fun ride. And
Mhm.
yeah, do we want to compare this movie to 28 years later? I don't.
I have a few things
Okay.
that are broad that I found because I thought they did have similar themes. When we were watching these together, it's not the best pairing in the world, but I thought it actually worked out well. These are like philosophical questions, almost that are covered in both movies. How do people become evil? Which film was
Mm.
more interesting in its exploration of this, and why?
But I think the exploration of the nature of evil.
That's what I
I think,
mean a little
yeah,
bit.
Mhm.
the exploration of the nature of evil, I think, is comparable because it's nature versus nurture, right? Because Samson, it's in his nature to be this mad guy, but because he was nurtured by Dr. Kelson, he was able to
Mm.
become, like a better man.
Mm.
Meanwhile, Josh O'Connor was not raised by anyone. He was left to survive, and because of that, he had to like do what he had to do, and then he turned into this monster. And
Mm.
I think that's kind of similar to Andrew's situation, isn't it? Because no one was there for him when he really needed someone to be there for him. And because he was not raised properly, he kind of ended up in a similar situation of evil.
Yeah.
I think I kind of liked 28 years later's depiction more. I thought both were really good, but
Oh, I
I
mean,
just liked
obviously.
how yeah, I mean, it's not that surprising what
That's not
I'm saying
surprising.
here. I mean, I kinda gave it away with my ratings, but no, I thought 28 years later, again with Alpha,
He has a name. It's Samson.
Yeah.
Samson, I
Put
keep
some
forgetting.
respect on
I
that
don't have it
man's
pulled
name.
up. Alpha forever. And I just thought there was a lot of exploration about, with Dr. Samson. I there's a lot of
Yeah.
or Dr. Kelson, sorry, not Samson. Dr. Kelson.
That's a Marvel
Um
character, I'm pretty sure.
no, I just said Samson again. I said Dr. Samson because I
Yeah,
didn't
Dr. Samson,
remember
I
his
think, is a
name.
Marvel character.
Oh, I didn't
Nice.
know that. Okay, I don't remember him. Who is it in the MCU?
No, he's not an MCU character. He's a comic character that I don't think has
Oh,
appeared in
I
the
don't
MCU.
read
Doc
too many
Samson.
comics, so I don't never heard of it. Anyways, this is a tangent.
Yeah.
I thought Dr. Kelson and Samson, their relationship, because they both were showing how some people put evil as a facade. Dr. Kelson acting as Satan in that hilarious, batshit, amazing, perfection cinema
Yeah.
sequence. And I thought Samson, it was interesting about like, oh, well, the evil wasn't from him, it was from the virus. But to an
Yeah.
extent, it comes within.
Yeah. Also, Jimmy Ink's character was really interesting, Aaron Kellyman, because honestly, if you look at it from a certain perspective, at the beginning of the Bone Temple, she's also very evil in the way, she's this very competent and rational, sane figure, and she's just enabling Jimmy Crystal the whole time. She's kind of his right hand man. At least that was kind of the sense I got.
But it kind of allowed her freedoms. Like, she was the only one who was able to walk off,
Yeah, so
without being, when
mhm.
Spike tried to walk off, he almost got murdered. But she was allowed to just go out in the wilderness
Well, I
by
don't know. I
herself
think
to.
honestly, I think it was kinda hard to hear because of the British accent,
I
but
didn't think any of the accents were hard to hear, and I
No, I think
usually
there
well,
have a
was
problem with that.
one accent that was hard. I think it was,
yeah,
Maybe it was the
yeah.
audio mix because I
I think
saw it
she
in Dolby
was
Atmos.
yeah, but she was kinda grumbling about going off on her own, right? She was kinda it was like a chore, and
No,
the
but
whole
she was
time
allowed to still though. Like she didn't.
yeah,
She was trusted,
and,
kind of like a
in the
Phoenix.
first half of the movie, she's very, like, cynical, but it's an interesting exploration of her character because we see her growth and her move from being all resigned and cynical to actually taking control and realizing that she has some agency and can control the rage within her and within Jimmy Crystal. And so she plays a very pivotal role in
All
but yeah.
right.
Okay, let's play the box office game. February 3rd through 9th, 2012.
This was the weekend for Chronicle, by the way.
Do you want to guess where Chronicle lied in its first week?
10?
I'm gonna go 3.
Number one.
Nice.
Wow.
Somehow, number one.
Okay. Okay.
Nice. I forgot about that.
Wow.
I have a question.
Yeah.
Matthew, where do
What?
you think Red Tails lies?
Yeah, this is in its third week, right? So I think like
Fourth, I think.
fourth. Oh, 7?
Correct.
Oh, what?
You're
Nice.
right. Okay, number two. I kind of just want to say what it is because I don't think this is even possible to guess. I don't even know what this
What
What?
is.
is it?
CBS Films, if you want to guess from that. in its first week.
Patriots
It made
Day.
almost as much as Chronicle.
Wow. How much did both of those movies make?
The second one made 25 million. Chronicle made
Nice.
27.8.
Oh, wow. It already made it back its budget then. Pretty successful.
Nice chunk of change. I think it made like 100 mil overall, didn't it?
Oh,
Yeah,
wow.
but what is the second? I don't think you could guess. I could
No,
just say it.
any
But since it
actors
made all that much
that we
money,
know?
it stars Daniel Radcliffe.
Radcliffe.
Oh, The Woman in
I've
Black.
never heard of it.
Tusks. Or
Did you look it up?
No, I have heard of this
It
movie.
was The Woman in Black.
Oh,
Wow.
really?
Okay.
Nice.
I've never heard of
Okay.
this film.
Look at me. Gold star.
Number 3. This is a film that I'm trying to think of what to say for this. This is a film about oil.
Oil.
Deepwater
Well,
Horizon.
kind of. Oil workers.
Workers. Is it a Michael Bay type movie or more of a
Maybe.
maybe?
Number 3, and it made $12.48 million.
And it's not Deepwater Horizon.
Nope.
Oil workers.
Uh,
Any more hints?
Like, you've both heard of this movie. I will say that. It's not some unknown, thing.
Director?
I think it will give it away, but I'll just say it's
Well,
not a very well-known director, as far as I'm aware. It stars an action actor who has been in some prestige films, too. But is mainly an action person.
Action person.
It's not Bruce Willis. It's not Schwarzenegger.
Tom Cruise? No. He wasn't in anything in 2012 this early.
It was in its it was in its second week. The director's name is Joe Carnahan.
Joe Carnahan.
God. Of the Rip fame.
Oh, so it's The Gray?
Yeah.
Oh God. Of course.
The Gray, which I had to watch, but they haven't yet because we're gonna do on a future podcast episode starring Liam Neeson. Ranking number 4 in its first week from Universal Pictures, $9.3 million.
9.3. Is it animated?
I don't think so. I'm trying to figure it out. No.
What week?
And it number 1. And it
Oh.
stars an actor we have covered on this podcast.
Matt Damon?
Oh wow.
No, in a main.
Yeah, we covered him in
Oh, we did.
Yeah.
Well, you're close.
Oh God. John Krasinski? What?
Correct.
What?
With
Universal.
Drew Barrymore.
Oh, I don't think we're gonna get this movie.
Is this like a rom-com?
Inspired by the incredible true story that unified the world. Oh my God, this post is terrible. Inspired by the incredible true story that unified the world.
United
Also
Passions.
in Alaska.
Alaska?
Oh.
I don't know if y'all have ever heard of this.
No, I think you should just tell us.
Big Miracle.
What a title.
Yeah. Okay. Number 5 in week 3, $7.68 million in a franchise that's horror adjacent. Maybe?
Horror adjacent? Oh, horror. Oh.
Yeah, but it's not really horror, but it kind of is.
Franchise. Like Alien?
Yes, but not Alien.
Oh, so like sci-fi.
No. No. It's
or is it like
action,
vampires?
fantasy, horror. But yes.
Abraham Lincoln Vampire Hunter.
No.
Damn.
Okay, so it has monsters in it though.
I've never seen it. I would think, based on the description.
Riddick.
No.
Van Helsing.
Worse. Think worse.
Dracula Untold.
Worse.
Resident Evil something or other.
Close.
Retribution.
Close.
So it's a zombie movie?
Okay.
No.
Chernobyl.
No. Think Resident Evil again. Think that again, but not.
What?
Paranormal Activity 3.
No. You're
It's a
getting farther.
franchise. Is it like a Resident Evil animated movie?
No. Live action.
But it's not Resident Evil.
No. Think of terribleness, though.
Final Destination 3.
The main person. Okay, Len Wiseman wrote it with 5 other people.
The Dancing with the Stars guy?
I think so.
Pride and Prejudice and Zombies?
No, think more mainstream, but also terrible. Vampires. We said this.
Oh, okay, it is vampires. Twilight. Breaking Dawn
Close,
Part
but no.
1. Oh.
And based on a picture, I didn't even realize this. It has the guy from Divergent, but it's not Divergent.
Maze
Theo
Runner?
James. No.
Let the right one in.
It has on IMDb 166,644 reviews at 6.3. Directed by Mans Marland.
Never heard of this man.
The Divergent guy is the most well-known actor I can even find in this list. The main woman I'd never heard of is called Kate Beckinsale.
Oh, wait. She's in Resident Evil.
That's why I said it was close, but it's not Resident Evil.
Does it have Mila Jokovic as well?
I don't think so.
Okay. It's a vampire movie.
Teeth, fangs, blood.
Should I just give it away? I don't know if y'all ever get it, even though it is known.
What is it?
Underworld.
No, I would not have gotten that.
I've heard of this movie, unfortunately.
Okay. Well, I think we've gone long enough. So, any final thoughts on these 2 movies that we covered before we close things out? I'll start, I guess. 28 years later, The Bone Temple. You got to see this movie, man. Please support it in theaters so that we can get the sequel as soon as possible, even though it's already been greenlit. Chronicle, yeah, creative stuff. I think worth a watch, but it's not the greatest. Pretty fun time.
Yeah, I will say this goes to show I will change my opinion on a dime, not of something I've already watched, but I will be open-minded. I hate it. I didn't hate, but I was extremely disappointed by 28 years later. And now this film, Bone Temple, is for sure going to be on probably my top 10 films of 2026. So you never know. And go support this movie, even if you're like me and were disappointed by the last one. If you want a dark, sinister, intense, but also meditative, character-focused, untraditional zombie flick that is better in every way, check out Bone Temple. It is worth your time.
Yeah. Any fans of Ralph Fiennes or of men acting very strangely, but go see it. Bring your friends. It's funny. And Chronicle, if you have any 10-year-old children in your midst, maybe don't show them this movie. Maybe if they're like 13 or 14, they would like it. 15, 16. But yeah, it's a fun time.
All right, y'all. Thanks for listening. Please comment, like, and share. And you can connect with us at Movies Met Pod on X, Instagram, and Blue Sky. Or you can reach out on whenmoviesmetmovies@gmail.com. And we'll see y'all next week when we will talk or rant about Abraham Lincoln Vampire Hunter and Chris Pratt's Mercy. Take care and bye.